What's up, everybody? How's it going today? Now that I got my camera on, I'll adjust my hat a little bit. Today's video is going to be about, well, really I didn't have a subject in mind. I had a couple things I was thinking about talking about, but what came to mind when I started the video was to say, that there's a difference between being right and being correct. And what does it mean to be right? And it probably stemmed from when I was thinking about, philosophy and theory and processing and trying to understand and what is knowledge and what defines knowledge. I've come to realize that, knowledge is only as good as how you can apply it. But there are certain subjects that you may not be able to apply now, but perhaps later. So they are good to know as well. But what I mean when I say there's being right and being correct is being right is not what matters, and having a theory that's right or a belief that's right is not what matters, because being right will always be a subjective experience, no matter how much we try to put an objectivity onto it, such as saying that, well, there are truths that are untouchable, like the sky is blue, plants are green. And then there will always be the person to say, oh, but there's this particular plant that's not green, or, in a certain situation, like night, the sky's not blue. We generally kind of write this off as, semantics or wordplay, But correctness, in the sense that we're doing what's right, I think is more important than being right. And sometimes that means we're willing to admit that we're wrong. And in the same sense, sometimes even when we know we're right, we're willing to let it go, because it doesn't matter. Say a debate or an argument doesn't matter. And it's really about weighing those options. I found that knowing more than another person does absolutely nothing for you as far as your conversation with them, if you're going to hold it over a person's head by saying, oh, you're a fool, or you're wrong. However, a person should be prepared to at least defend their points if they have something they're making a claim about. Some people don't want to do that, so they just like to have conversations about subjects, particular ideas, and just kind of float around, theories or stories or what-ifs. And then there's others who say, well, I want the solid facts. So in between, I think that being right or being correct is somewhere in between in a conversation. Letting certain aspects of it go. When it comes to the human emotion and the human behavior, I look at it as a fractal, which is why I grabbed this book, actually. It was Fractals, The Patterns of Chaos. And I ordered this the other day online. It just came today. And it's always been a fascinating subject of mine. Not because of mathematical fractals even, or the beautiful Mandelbrot set that shows these wonderful patterns within patterns, but that if you look at something small enough, you see that the patterns tend to repeat. And I believe that this can be extended into behavior and daily activities, things that we do. It's very difficult to express at this point. The idea that we have like emotions within emotions and knowledge within knowledge. There's like a certain aspect that we really understand within a larger subject, and then that subject we somewhat understand within the larger context of what it means. And this is important to me because the fractal nature shows that the patterns of the chaos is a theory that some things just can't be predicted, such as if you study turbulence and you see how you can only predict things down to a certain level. And this is why weather patterns cannot be predicted. People ask, well, how come the weatherman's always wrong? And 50 years ago, scientists believed that truly they would be able to predict the weather down to the detail, weeks in advance, if not months. But it never happened, and that's because of the butterfly effect, which everyone's heard of. But something as simple as a thermal updraft off of a car hood can cause a convection and a current, and voila, you've got clouds forming. Next thing you know, you have a storm. Everything is started by such small things, and there's such a large degree of input and so many factors involved that predicting the weather even a week in advance is nearly impossible for any one area. But on the larger scale, we can predict the weather. So such as in the winter, we can predict, you can look at a map, like they say, you look at a map of the world with all the cloud cover. You can say, okay, the US is cloud covered, and maybe South America isn't. But then you zoom in, and you look at one region of the US, and you find out that within that region, some areas are warm and have clouds, and some don't. And then you zoom in even closer, and you find even within cities, there are areas where one area is hot and one's not. And it goes on and on through those cycles to realize that things are difficult to predict and difficult to navigate when you get down to that level. So it's just an interesting, fascinating thing. I see that I'm being summoned, so I guess I'm going to have to go now. But, hi. Have a wonderful day, and